Hola everyone, it's me, Nessie Penguin. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you're new here. Today we're actually doing something new. This is part of a new Let's Build series, and one of my subscribers, Trini, sent me a link to this house on, I think it was called Zillow, and it basically is a really big, nice house. It was done in a pretty traditional way. I think it's called Stonewater, and it's in St. Eagle or something like that. So it's a really pretty house. So this whole design is based off that, and I'm just doing the constrained floor sheet now to make the garage. I know it's a bit fiddly, but yeah, I'm just putting that in. So you're gonna see like a lot of features that are very similar, but I mean, I put sort of my own twist on it, and it is kind of a bit more modern actually when I finished it than the original one, and I think I actually put more bedrooms in it, just within the space that you're given, because I did kind of use the same layout, but as you know, like when people make real houses, you know, there's always room for improvement. There's always better ways that you could use the space, so I've just done that as best as I can. So yeah, this is pretty much the downstairs layout. I really can see this house being great for like someone who likes generations, playing at a really big family, because the downstairs is going to have 2 bedrooms. So I think, you know, when there's people who are staying over, or when you have like older generations, it's kind of like actually like more realistic that they might have a downstairs bedroom, because I guess, like, you know, if you're older, you don't necessarily want to be going up and downstairs all day. And the bedrooms downstairs do have bathrooms as well. Well, actually I think one has a bathroom, one just has a shower, so I think it makes sense the way it is. And then there's plenty of room upstairs with even more bedrooms, and I've made sort of 2 smaller bedrooms in the front, but I changed that just then to the bigger sort of bedroom, because I mean, I already had like so many bedrooms, it didn't need to be 2 small ones. So if you want to like change it back and have 2 smaller rooms there, obviously you could do. And if you watch to the end of the video and you like everything that's in this house, I will be leaving the link to download this in the description. And this technically is a speed build, but it's, as you might have noticed, it's quite a long video, and that's just because I build it and I decorate it, and I don't half decorate houses like I could do. And if you think that's probably a better option, please let me know in the comments. If you think, oh, you know, I only need to know kind of where the bed's gonna go, and I'm pretty happy with that, I'll just, you know, have the sort of basic layout, and sort of the walls decorated and stuff, but I don't need you to do everything. You know, I'm interested to know what people like, but when I kind of create these houses, decorating is my favourite bit, and obviously you have to do the build to decorate it, so I kind of like do the build as best as I can, but I don't spend as much time on the build, I don't think, as the decorating, just because it's the sort of necessity rather than the thing that I enjoy the most about it. So now I'm just moving on to the roofing, everyone's favourite part about Sims 3. I mean, if that was true, I mean, yeah, good for you, but I really cannot stand doing the roofing on Sims 3. I think it's just very fiddly, and I don't play Sims 4, but from what people say, it does have a pretty good auto roof function, whereas like the roofing, like if you want to just do like an auto roof on Sims 3, it will never ever look good. And I'm not saying that what I do with the roofing looks great, but it looks a hell of a lot better than if you just click the auto roof button, because honestly I don't think I've really ever seen something come out well when I've just done the auto roofing. And the nice thing was I had a picture to reference for this, so you know, I mean, it's not like exactly identical, but it just gives me a sort of idea of, oh, that roofing is facing there and there's a little bump out here and stuff. These are little additions, like sort of extensions that I just did there. I don't think that is part of the actual sort of reference, but I thought it looked better, so that's what I put in there. And because it is a very big house, I think it kind of needs like tiny bump outs and just things that make it not as like boxy, because it's wide, it's ridiculously like, you know, large. So I mean, obviously for good reason, because it does fit. It's going to easily fit your whole family and more. You know, it's a great size for having like parties and stuff, and I don't think that Sims are going to have many rooting issues. And this point, I've left this in the video, but this is basically Nessie's blunder. So what I did was I didn't actually measure the garage properly, so I'd done all that fiddly, you know, constrained floor elevation sheets and all of that, and now I have to go back and redo all of that, and it's actually even more fiddly to redo. So just because I didn't leave enough space for the actual car parking spaces. So lesson learned, you know, we all have to sort of do these things to figure it out, and it's just one of them things I forgot when I was there building it all. So yeah. And what you'll also notice about the way I build and furnish and stuff is I do tend to put the sort of plain carpet down as the flooring, but with the intention to then repattern it in wood textures, just because I kind of prefer the actual wood patterns to the wood like planks that you get with the game, and I know you can download loads of CC wood planks and all of that, but I, you know, don't tend to use that. I just kind of create my own, and it's probably for the best, because at the time when I was making this video I had a real big issue with uploading anything that had not even just CC but store content, just anything that's not like part of the base game or the expansion packs. So I kind of use CC and things like that to decorate, but actually afterwards I had to go back in and kind of replace it all, and at the end of the video I will show like what it looks like when I decorate it how I want to decorate it, but also straight after that how it actually will look when you upload it, just because I had to, like I say, remove all like anything CC, anything that was store content, which was quite a lot, but I think, you know, I picked little replacements that kind of made sense actually and didn't really change the look of it that much, and it kind of goes to show that you don't need CC, you know, as much as I love using it and it would always be like my first option, you don't need it. Like things can be kind of created and you know, made to look like what you're going for in the first place without it, and to be honest, for many years I didn't download any CC. Like I got pretty used to using like just the expansion packs and the stuff packs, and for this build I am pretty sure I will have used every single stuff pack and every single expansion pack. Maybe the only one I didn't use was Katy Perry Sweet Treats, and potentially also, I think it's called like high-end loft stuff, just because that stuff's super modern, and like I said, I kind of did the house a little bit modern, but not like, you know, futuristic modern, so I probably just didn't use that like because it didn't suit the style. So I'm just going around the house sort of putting the end panellings on. They're like the sort of wood panelling that comes with the Pets expansion, and it's just got really nice edging, and I always think like it's a really nice way to sort of make the edges of like each corner of the house really defined, and I just really like how that looks. And this little tip here, by putting a piece of carpet or something down, some flooring, you can get super straight edges, and it's just, you know, if you don't like freehanding things, I quite enjoy doing a bit of freehand work like I just did there, because I just think it's kind of like artistic almost, you know, you can do whatever pattern, but if you are going for a strictly very straight line, that is one of the things I like to do, and I think it does make it look very crisp, so I do like that. And now I'm just doing a little bit of landscaping, kind of just like how it was in the picture, and you might have seen me just dot like a million bushes there, but it's only because I like to be really fussy and pick the smallest one or the size that I like, because as you may know, in Sims, like every time you put some trees or bushes down, they're always like a different size, which is useful because sometimes, you know, you want the smaller variant or whatever, but it's kind of like you get what you get, whereas with, I think, Sims 4 you can kind of resize it intentionally, like to whatever you want, whereas I have to sort of dot it around until I get the size that is better, but I mean, that's what I'm assuming is the only way to do it, but it's the only way I've known about, so yeah, I mean, it's fine, because I really, like, you know, usually about the 4th or 5th time you will get the smaller version or the larger version by then, and it's just in cases like that where I needed like 5 smaller ones, it can be a bit fiddly. So what I'm doing now, I'm just kind of using the patterns kind of from the themes section to give it this like themed wallpaper, and I think it's called like shiplap or something, that sort of style of like planks as well. I think it just gives it quite like a ranch style, and that's kind of what inspired the sort of furnishings. I know I said before I went a bit modern, and most people will be like, modern isn't really ranch style, but it's like ranch with like modern touches, and I just pictured it being like, this could have been your like great grandparents' house, and you know, when they were alive or lived in it or whatever, they had it in like an unintentionally old-fashioned way, because that was just the you know, style of the times for them, whereas when you're living it now with your family, you've updated little bits and bobs, like not everything is like super updated, but it's just kind of like you've adopted the style and made it more for this century, if you know what I mean. So I think that's kind of what I was going for, and at the moment I'm just kind of sorting out this living room area, and when I was looking through the reference pictures, they had some really nice window sills with like, you know, bits and bobs on them, and I thought, well, I don't really have room at the bottom layer because it would have like clashed with the sofa, so I put them up high like that, and I guess if you have a CC ladder or something like that, you could probably like put that there, and it would be like that's how you water them, or you could just pretend that they're like artificial plants, because then they look pretty but it's practical, you wouldn't actually have to go up there and water it, which makes sense. So yeah, I really quite liked how this section turns out, and I use a lot of the stuff from the Pets expansion, because it just kind of goes with that style. Like nearly everything in the whole of like Appaloosa Plains is ranch style intentionally, so I've really sort of gone for that. And that little doormat was from University Life, and I just sort of recoloured the outside bit to look like sort of a gingham pattern. And I really liked these pictures there. I thought it gave it a little bit of a traditional twist, but that one in the middle, the little quirky portrait of like, I guess it's like punk relatives or something. I always love to put that in people's houses, because if you make even like the most like simple people, you know, they don't have anything like, you know, kind of quirky about them, then it's kind of nice that there's this nod to, oh well, yeah, but the family has like, you know, these like punks in it, and I just kind of like the sort of thought of that. So this is quite like a nice tip. So I just use the move objects cheat, put those bookcases up there, and same with the table. I used moved objects, so I could sort of squeeze two tables together to make it into like one massive table. You could even put more chairs at the end if you wanted to, and I've just used some CC like plates and stuff like that, like just to really kind of give it a little place setting. But yeah, you could really fit more chairs around that, which is quite fun. And if you do have a massive family to literally occupy this huge house, it can work great. Like, there is the space. So I did love how that all turned out. And you know, none of the, like the table and the chairs and the bookcases, that's just all regular game stuff. It isn't CC, so I didn't have to replace like that much when I was going through it again, which was quite nice. I think that, you know, there is a lot of nice CC out there, but also the stuff you can just get with the game. You know, if you repattern it, retexture it, it can look really nice. So for the bathroom, I mainly use the pet stuff. The cabinets are actually from Into the Future, so yes, I have used Into the Future stuff, even though it's not ultra modern, but I don't think those cabinets look ultra modern. I kind of just use them because they were convenient, because they're like so high up, but they're kind of smaller than the regular cabinets. I think they're the only ones that are really that size that come with the base game. So yeah, I really like that. The bed I've used here, it won't be in the download because it's store content. So like I said, everything that was store or CC I had to remove, which is really annoying, but thankfully I actually changed the bed to this one that came with seasons, so you will get that bed after all. But yeah, the other bed was actually from the kind of the nature pack that comes in the store, and I mean, I don't even know if you can really buy stuff from the Sims 3 store anymore. Like, I tried to get some sim points the other day and I only really managed to get them because it glitched out and took me to like the old origin page, which I could then get the sim points with, but I couldn't, like, for some reason, like the website just couldn't route me to the correct page. So yeah, they obviously don't want you to buy stuff anymore on there, which, I mean, it would explain why you know, people are like loving CC more these days, because you can't even get the other stuff. But I mean, also, like, I don't think many people would want to necessarily spend money on Sims 3 just because it's older or they've moved on to Sims 4 or whatever, but Sims 3, it's like just my everything game. Like, I did invest in this. Like, my other half bought me stuff when we were in uni together. He actually bought me The Sims 3 to begin with, so like I owe like my whole love for this game, like every hour of enjoyment, which is a lot of hours, to him just going, oh, I've bought you this game, because we didn't have much money in uni, and I think that would probably be the same same as most students, to be fair. You know, it's not easy. Everyone's like, oh, but you get a student loan. Well, yeah, but that's usually only enough to cover the accommodation and really basic food. Like, you know, super basic. Like, you can't really afford takeaways. You can't really afford to cook a big meal, like, you know. So him buying me a game back then and like gifting me stuff on the store, it was just like incredible, because we just didn't have much, and he obviously saved a lot to just get me some bits and bobs on here. And honestly, some of the times playing Sims 3 back in uni, it's like my fondest memories, because the website was so active. Like, everyone was on there, everyone was loving it, you know, everyone was sort of talking about what they were making, and people were creating all the time on it. And I'm just so lucky to have been involved with all that, like when it was kind of at its peak, and it was just incredible. Like, I think you can make such creative things on Sims 3, and I do see a lot of screenshots of what people create on Sims 4, and it's pretty good. But I think there's just a little bit more room to be creative on this, because you can recolour anything. You know, I think you can kind of just personalise it a hell of a lot more. Like, I see, like, kind of, I don't know, what people would say is like HGTV or whatever it's called, sort of model houses on Sims 4, and they, you know, look really modern and really pretty, and yeah, you definitely think, oh, that could be in a magazine or something. But I think with Sims 3, like, some of like the point in the creativity and the customization was that you could make things a bit more crazy. Like, you know, if some woman was like obsessed with leopard print, you could just like do everything, her bed, her sofa in leopard print, and just go wild, and it would just look hilarious and just look so amazing. But you just can't do that in the newer games. So you know, I think the Sims team missed a trick there, because I think that kind of, for me, was the fun element of, like, you know, creating people with different personalities, and just everything could suit them. Like, if you wanted your house in all black, or just doing whatever, you know, you could really go there, and you can make things look more like polished or more rustic, you know, depends on which textures and patterns you go for. I think, you know, there's definitely such an ease to creating whatever style with this game. So I think that's why I'll always love it, and why I'll always choose this game personally. But I think there's a lot of people who are like me, and they are the builders and stuff, and they do appreciate the amount that you can customize it. So yeah, I think that's just something that draws me to this game. But you know, I think everyone kind of finds that game that clicks with them, so I was very lucky that I do have that sort of game. And yeah, ever since I've started like doing this channel, I've really enjoyed sort of sharing my creations with you, because I just used to build all day long in Sims, so you know, none of those creations ever saw the light of day, and I kind of just enjoy the fact that we can talk about stuff, and you know, you can let me know what you think and what we could do differently, and just different ways to sort of decorate, which is my favourite part of playing Sims. I have tried to play families, and I might eventually do a let's play series, but like the decorating and the building, that's kind of like what I'm most passionate about, so I'd much rather make videos on that. But who knows, I guess it's one of those things where it might just be that I haven't like played with the right family and stuff, that, you know, I've kept going for generations, because I think literally I don't really even get people to the time when they age up, so it would be kind of nice to find a really like fun family, fun storyline, and I've seen loads of challenges out there, and I've even tried to like create my own challenge, but I honestly haven't like properly tested it yet, so these things are to come anyway at some point. But yeah, I hope you like what's happening with the decorations so far. We've literally done quite a lot of rooms now, and I kind of didn't talk about it, but yeah, we've done like the little breakfast nook there. We're doing this sort of, I guess it's like a second living room, or like another entertainment area, which I really liked how that turned out. Again, there's like sort of like the nods to the old sort of style of the house, with like the darker wallpaper and stuff, and like the kind of older rustic coffee table, but then you can tell that the family must have had to replace the sofas and the chairs and stuff like that at some point, which I quite like. And then this piano I absolutely love. It's basically someone's kind of modded the keyboard so it's the same size as the keyboard rather than the grand pianos, which take up a hell of a lot of room, which honestly this is quite a big room, and I probably could have fitted a grand piano in there, which I think I have to do at the end because it won't fit, or I did just use the keyboard potentially, but I think that's just such a nice idea that you could fit those sort of pianos in, because they do like come in that size in real life. So I do love that someone created that. It's just one of my favourite CCs, I think, just because it's so practical and it does look really good, and I think you can get that sort of style of piano in Sims 4, so it's kind of nice that you've got that option in Sims 3 as well. And if you're wondering why I've got a Christmas tree in the room, it's because the reference photo of the like that house listing had a Christmas tree in one of the rooms, because I mean, I guess like when you're selling your house it might have been December for them, and even though nothing else was Christmassy that I noticed, I just kind of thought, well, you know, this is kind of a nod to a real house, yeah, and it like gives you the sort of I guess feeling of you can actually host family events here, you know, you can have everyone around for the Christmas feast or whatever, because yeah, it's part of the game, especially if you've got seasons. There's always times where you're going to have parties of some sort, and you're going to kind of decorate accordingly, so I think that was quite a nice thing. And I honestly forget about the Christmas tree light. I think that is a free store content, so you can go on the Sims 3 website as long as you've kind of created an account. There are a few items that are free, so EA didn't want your money for some things. It's like a miracle, but yeah, if you go on there, there's like usually, I think there was like some celebration stuff that's free, and like a couple of things. There isn't much, but it's better than nothing. And what you might have just seen me do very, very quickly, because I've got this on like speed, I don't know, like times 10 or something. It was ridiculously fast, just to sort of make the video a little bit shorter. So I actually changed the lighting to flame. I keep like going on and on about this. I know I kind of like, it's like not the most important thing ever, but for me, I just think it makes rooms so much more cozy. In my own house, I kind of use a lot of lighting that's of more an amber tone than white light, because I think white light is really harsh. Like, I don't know, it reminds me of sort of libraries when they have that sort of daytime lighting inside, so that you can study at, you know, midnight but not feel like you're, you know, in the middle of the night, and it kind of is quite harsh. So yeah, I really love to make my houses feel cozy, especially in a house this size. It's quite hard to achieve that because, you know, the rooms are so big, they're gonna feel a little bit maybe too spacious, a bit too open, and when a room's so exposed, it's quite hard to make it feel cozy and inviting. So I just think that's like quite a nice, easy trick to do. So this landing is huge, and I probably could have made it a bit smaller, and then the rooms would have been a bit bigger, but the rooms were already quite generous. So I just ended up with this huge hallway, which it's like quite an amazing like space really, because you can imagine, you know, you can call down to the people that are in the living room. I know Sims don't literally do that, but it's just kind of the openness is actually really nice in this space. And I think I did say that I was kind of doing this all in like a ranch kind of style, and this is kind of almost verging into cottagey style up here, but I just kind of really liked that basket and plant, and it just became a moment. So yeah, I loved that. And then I put this desk like up there. Obviously, like it's a bit of a hazard zone with like having a lamp there. Like, just don't make sure you don't knock it off, because it's going to go flying probably on someone's head. But like, it's quite cool to think that you could just be working and look out and see your whole family. And obviously it's not a very private office area, but if you just kind of wanted to do something there and kind of be involved in stuff, or like if you're a parent and you want to see what your kids are doing or something, theoretically, I don't know, it's like a nice option. So yeah, and I've never had the chance to do that sort of layout, so I was really like excited to do that with this. And I think that's the nice thing about creating so many different houses, that there's like so many opportunities and different ways you can decorate, and different like ideas. Like, you know, if you've got a smaller room, you can make a sort of nook, and if you've got bigger rooms, you can fit loads of sim activity things like pool tables and whatever you want. And I think in this, I can't remember if I did add like a ping pong table or something like that. I think because I'm trying to keep it a bit more sort of ranch style and everything, I opted to just make it sort of pretty with the rugs and stuff. But I could easily fit something like fun for your Sims to do there. So or you could even put something for the kids to do, like make it more into sort of a playroom. And one of the rooms I actually did decorate more like a playroom rather than a bedroom, but I think because this is a big house, there's just so many options. Like, you can redecorate any room the way you want it, especially like if you have a sim with specific hobbies or a job. So, you know, one room could actually be like an artist room, just a space where your sim can really be creative and do all the things like that you really want them to do and achieve. So it's nice to have sort of skill building rooms. I didn't really make anything for skills as such, other than the kind of like piano area indoors. What you'll see at the end of the video is I put a few things in the garden, because the house is big, but the garden is equally just as big, to be fair. I think I built this on a 50 times 50 lot. It might be a bit smaller. It definitely wasn't the biggest lot you can get, but yeah, I believe I wasn't originally gonna make it on a 40 times 40, but just the width of the house alone was a little bit too crammed. But I can't remember if I changed my mind, so I'll try and have a little look at what I did. But like I say, I did upload this in the end, so I'll try and put that in the description, because if you do want to download this, then you're probably going to want to know what size it is, so that you can actually fit it in somewhere in your town. I'm kind of creating this, I think I created this in Sunset Valley, and just because it's one of my favourite worlds to sort of build in any style, because I find that I don't know what style Sunset Valley is meant to be honest. I'd imagine it's just a sort of typical town in America or something like that, but I do find it's quite a nice like blank slate for whatever sort of style you're going for. At the moment I am actually creating a save file for Sunset Valley, and the sort of style I'm going for is a little bit more moody, a little bit more sort of dark academia sort of style, and it's nowhere near finished because I'm literally redoing every single house and community lot, and I kind of wish that I filmed some of the process. I don't think I've filmed any of it yet, and I could do a sort of catch-up video on what everything looks like now, but I'm kind of annoyingly a bit of a perfectionist, so if on the outside it doesn't look like amazing, even though it's not anywhere near done, then I don't want to share that much of it. I have been sharing screenshots on Twitter. If you follow me on there, I'm Nessie Penguin on Twitter, and I do tend to just occasionally, if I feel like there's a really nice angle for something, then I will screenshot it and share it, which is obviously very different to sharing an entire video, because then you can see the full street, and you know, if there's some areas which haven't really like started yet, and the style's just a bit like all over the place at the moment, but yeah, I've created like a new sort of nectary casino most recently, and I've kind of given Sunset Valley more of an autumn look as well, so yeah, I'm really excited to share that at some point, but like I say, it's just not at the level yet where I'm like, okay, I have like a video's worth to share. I potentially do, but it's just for me personally, I don't feel like it is. So what I'm currently doing now is decorating the nursery and the playroom. You'll probably notice that I'm using loads of CC. These are the rooms I have to change the most when it comes to actually sharing it, because I use those CC and store content actually. So like the round crib, which is really cool, you can't get that from the store, that's CC, and then the frog stuff is CC, but then the store content that I had to replace that I couldn't share was the like nursery stuff with the bath changing mat, the little bear potty, the what's it called, the playpen, the walker thing, and there's also a CC like nap time blanket on the floor as well. That's a really cool like mod actually, where the kids can just decide to fall asleep rather than having to have like an adult put them in their bed. So I do like that mod. You've probably seen it on other people's videos, but it's just like a nice. Also, I can't remember if I like really went with a different style when it comes to replacing it all at the end, because obviously this is super frog themed and there isn't anything frog themed with the base game and stuff, so I think I had to completely redo that idea altogether. But yeah, I can't honestly remember off the top of my head because it's been a while since I actually filmed this video, and also thank you very much for bearing with me for like I haven't brought a video out in a long time, and I wanted to just let you know that you know, I still fully plan on making videos, creating content, and I actually have loads of videos already filmed. The problem I've found just from actually doing this channel is that I really want to do voiceovers for all my videos. Sorry if you don't like that style, because that's kind of like what I ended up doing. At first when I was doing my speed builds, it was just build with music, and that is fine. I can deal with that, and you know, that's a really nice style, and I do watch other people's that do that, but I kind of also want to sort of natter through the process and all of this sort of thing, just to have like conversations in general, and I think like when it comes to actually using my voice, it's just, it can't hold up. Like I get a sore throat so easily. Like I think it was like last year I lost my voice for about a week, and I swear I have just not been right since, and actually most recently I've started drinking coconut water, because of that, honestly, it's got some sort of miracle effect on me, and I did look it up, and apparently it's like anti-inflammatory and all this stuff, like just naturally, which is amazing, because I drink that and my throat feels like half, you know, decent again, you know, from when I'm starting to feel like I'm literally losing my voice, and this video in particular, I was like, wow, I've got to sort of, well, I haven't got to, but I want to sort of talk through it, and it's basically an hour long, and yeah, it was quite daunting, to be fair, because I thought my voice is just not going to last, and it's been, I think it has been about 2 months maybe since I filmed this. That's how long it's taken me to be like, am I well enough to do this now? So yeah, I know that there's no pressure for me to do a voiceover, but it's just a preference thing, and I feel like if I'm gonna bother to do this channel and create things, you know, I kind of want to talk over it, because it's like the difference between sharing screenshots on Twitter. Like, you don't connect with people, talk through the process, you just literally go, I made this today or something like that. So this is like, you know, a bit more detailed, but yeah, thank you for not unsubscribing, and if you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe. It does help my channel. It's free, and you can just become part of our little penguins, and we all love simming, and it's just a nice community where, you know, you can talk about what you enjoy and give tips to everyone, because, you know, it doesn't matter how long you've been playing Sims for, there's always things to learn, and it's just fun to share things and experiences and little tips and stuff. So yeah, just feel free to join us, and just to talk about the build again, so this is what I thought was like the kind of kid going on teenage room. So the kid's sort of grown out of toys, but you know, maybe they were like into gaming and stuff anyway, but now they've got this little area where they can kind of just chill out with their friends and watch some TV. I could have probably put a sleeping bag in there as well, so you can do sleepovers. I think it's a really generous size for a child, and if they're not quite, you know, in your opinion, ready to grow out of toys, you can just put in a dollhouse or something in there, but I remember I did make the playroom as well, so you don't have to feel like, you know, that you have to fit all the toys in different rooms, because I think it's nice to have like a room dedicated to kids playing, because if you've got more than one child, which I guess in a house of this size is quite likely, then it's quite nice for them to be able to like all play together. So again, I've just put the flame effect on the lighting, which totally changes up the vibe. So this room predominantly uses the pet stuff. In fact, I've gone into the actual pet selection from the sort of folders that you get, which compiles the stuff together, and yeah, I really love like how it turned out, because I don't tend to do that much stuff from the same pack, because I always think it matches too much, and if you know me, like I have kind of a naturally eclectic sort of style, where, you know, I don't like things to look too matchy, and I'm pretty sure I do go in and recolour stuff. So with the bedding, where it's like kind of like a log that's been broken, I guess maybe to look really natural, where it's just been sawn off and just sanded down in that shape, I put the 2 candles, which I think are from Supernatural, a bit wonky, like on different levels, because it kind of looks like they're like sort of built into the headboard then, and I'm pretty sure I leave them like that, but I quite liked that random look that just sort of happened naturally. So here I'm just picking like some sort of bear skin or something like sheepskin rug, just because I think like when I think of ranches, I do think of the like horns of, like, you know, animal horns on walls and like sheepskin and stuff like that, and cow hides and things like that, which may be like too stereotypical, but I still think that's really cozy, like the whole sheepskin thing, like under your feet, that would like be really comfortable and lovely. So yeah, I really like how this sort of recolouring is going. I've like lightened all the furniture, but I've kept this sort of rustic kind of wood pattern as well, so it does still give the sort of ranch look, and I really always love CC pillows and bed blankets and sofa blankets and all of that, because you can't get those with the base game and just general expansions and stuff that come with Sims. They're only like an option with CC. But I think they've really enhanced the way, especially like beds look, just with that extra sort of volume it gives them, because the natural sort of bed shape in Sims is quite flat. It doesn't look like a comfortable bed, so it's almost like a must-have when I'm creating rooms now. Obviously, like back in the day when I didn't have CC, I guess it was a you don't know what you're missing out on sort of situation, until I started seeing like photos of other people's rooms, and I was like, you know what, like the way that the bed is dressed just makes such a huge difference. Like if you picture this room that I've created now without those pillows, like it's still, you know, a very like thought out room, and the colours are all sort of complementary and everything, but there's just that extra final touch that would be missing. It would look a bit flat in a way, I suppose. So you know, I can highly recommend downloading some really nice pillows or something like that. Obviously I will say, like, when you're downloading things, maybe not as much anymore, because I think people are more careful with, like, you know, the CC that they upload, but just make sure it's from reliable like sources and creators, because obviously I wouldn't want to go ahead and advise you that you should go and download some CC and then it does something weird to your game. Like, I would hate to feel like I've caused that. So yeah, just make sure that you feel like it's a trusted. I think one of the first places I ever downloaded CC from was the Sims resource, and it is a great site. Like, I mean, now that I've sort of like downloaded more CC since I started, I don't think it's like the very best, most detailed CC that's available, but I just, you know, I've never had a problem with anything I've downloaded. So if you feel like you want to just stay on the safer side and, you know, download something from there, then that's quite understandable. And I do think they have a huge catalogue of things. Most of the CC, in fact probably all the CC I've used in this room specifically, is from the Sims resource. So yeah, I can highly recommend it. And I also downloaded a few patterns as well. Again, they won't be in the download because I just can't upload anything with CC, but yeah, when we sort of zoom through the house at the end to what you get, it's still very much the same sort of vibes, just a few different items here and there where I had to replace them. But to be fair, I think it only took me about 20 minutes to change the whole house so I could actually upload it, so it wasn't too bad. I don't actually record any of the changes, just the sort of finished result, because this sort of part of the video recording all of this decor was long enough, and I also made this decision to keep the recording as the sort of CC and store version rather than the non-store version, because even though I couldn't upload it exactly like this is still my preferred like vision for the house. So yeah, that's why I've gone with this for the recording. But yeah, let me know if I should have kept the recording of the non-CC, non-store content version. Also, I'd be really interested to know, like, when we do come to that part where I show you sort of like the end result for this house, and then the end result for the non-CC version of the house, what you think, you know, which one do you prefer. Like I say, I definitely prefer the version with CC, because stuff like that, really cute little panda bath mat and stuff like that, you can't get that in the base game. But yeah, it's just so cute, like I had to use it, and I can't actually 100% remember where I got that one from, but yeah, it's adorable, and there's just so many like amazing talented creators out there that come up with absolutely everything, and you know, you can do themed bedrooms and themed bathrooms, and all of that, and it just always looks so cool. I do, you know, think if you were a kid and you had, like, you know, everything was a frog theme or something like that, I don't know, like it might look a little bit obsessive or something, but it is quite cool really that you can just go ahead and do that, you know, and I think that it's not totally uncommon that people would do that in real life, so I really like to do that. And now we're pretty much done with the whole interior, and I am really happy with how it all turned out. So now I'm just gonna do the outside. I always really struggle, and I don't know if you do as well, but I really struggle creating the sort of boundaries, I guess, for the gardens and stuff, just because like most houses in real life have fences and all of that, but I never want it to look too boxy, and I find it kind of really hard for it not to. And I also don't want to make it look too basic as well, like, you know, just the same fence all the way around, which is again like normal technically. Like my garden in real life just has a boxy fence like as the back garden, and it's all the same fence. But I think it's just when it comes to like it actually downloading a house on Sims, it kind of has to be something a bit more special than that. Well, I think it does anyway, just because otherwise it's just a bit too simple, isn't it? So yeah, I nearly always use these sort of bohemian lights. They're from the Bohemian Garden set from the Sims 3 store, but like even after downloading CC lights and stuff, these are actually still my favourite, and I think it's just because you can get these sort of style in real life and they just look so pretty, and I just think it sort of finishes off like little zones and patios and stuff so nicely, and even like if you make a gazebo type thing or a pagoda, like putting that just looks so nice. So what I've done here is I've kind of made my own sandbox, because I don't know if you know, but if you put the sand terrain down anywhere, your sim can interact with it and just build a sandcastle or whatever. So you don't have to have a sandbox. Although, you know, if you want to do have a sandbox, there are actually more options. So with a sandbox you can do stuff like bury your homework and stuff like that, but yeah, you don't have that option, but there are some options. It still works as a sandbox, and the sandcastle is actually CC, like a I think it was a doll's house, but someone had created it into like a sandcastle. Again, like, people are just so creative, because when the Sims are playing with that, it doesn't look like weird or anything. I mean, they get the little dolls out and stuff, but like, kids could play with Barbies in the sand or whatever. It doesn't look like super odd. And then the tent isn't actually functional, it is just decor, but it is like one of the cutest things. I think it was one of the first like CC items I ever downloaded. Little teepee, which like kids today use all the time. I'm always seeing them in like sort of kids room magazine like designs and stuff. So I mean, yeah, you might pick up that I'm really into interior design, so I do like read a lot of things like the home and garden and stuff like that, and I just think like kids rooms especially, they're just so cute, like how people can decorate them. And I think I mentioned earlier that like the house is massive, but so is the garden. You can see that you've got all of this area, like they've got like the actual lounging area, you've got the eating area with the like more modern barbecue and stuff, and the hot tub. The outdoors is quite on the modern side, but the way I thought about it was like this family who live in the house, they are, you know, into modern more than old fashioned. Like, they have updated things as they go, and with outdoor stuff that obviously gets weathered and you have to replace it or, you know, refurbish it more often maybe than the interior stuff. So I thought, well, you know, even if this family has lived in this house for generations, then the outdoors is probably going to be the most updated. And these hedges and stuff like that, they are Sims 4 to Sims 3 converted things, I think from aroundthesims.com. But again, I was just sort of messing with some landscaping, trying to make it look a bit prettier, a bit more interesting, because there is so much space to fill. So yeah, I think we're actually kind of getting quite close to sort of the finishing touches now, to be fair. Thank you so much if you've watched this sort of film length YouTube video. I don't intend on making them this long in the future. I mean, it is what it is, and I guess if you think it is too long, you know, I just want you to let me know, like, if you want them longer, like, let me know. I just want to know what sort of the perfect time for you to sort of sit and watch comfortably and not feel like you couldn't possibly sit through it or whatever. And yeah, I just hope you enjoyed it, even though it was quite long, and you know, me yabbering on wasn't too much hard work, but I guess I just really tried to create a very, very nice house, like I say, for you know, whatever family you want to move in here. And yeah, I just would love to know if you do use it, if you do play in it, like what sort of family you have move in, and if they are a big family or if it's just like a couple of people and they are, like, you know, planning to sort of be the founders for your generation and sort of make this start off like the family tree and everything. So yeah, I just really want to know, and I'm just kind of just putting a bit of terrain painting to do the final touches. So yeah, this is the finished house. I really hope you like what it looks like. Obviously you can tell that it took a long time to make it. If you're interested, it took me over 9 hours to build and furnish and yeah, everything with this house. But honestly, it didn't feel like it took that long whilst I was doing it. I was just in the zone. So yeah, I really hope you liked this video. If you did, please give it a like. You know, please share comments. I just want to know like what you think of it, and yeah, I just hope that you really enjoyed it. Like I said before, subscribe if you liked it. If you want to see more content, you know, it just means that I'll pop up when I've done another video, and you can just click on it easily rather than searching. But yeah, I hope that you really enjoyed this, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.